I have spent over 7 years building my video agency called Venturesome here in Switzerland, and I have made a ton of mistakes on that journey, so you don't have to. So in today's video, I will share the 4 most important lessons for every videographer and filmmaker who wants to make a decent living from their passion. Lesson number 1, clients only care about one single thing, which is value. They do not care about your camera, they do not care about your editing software, they do not care about your grading. They only care about value. I mean, let's say your video was filmed on a Red, amazing production quality, but it gets 0 views, 0 engagement, 0 nothing. Well, it's worthless. On the other hand though, if you film a video with a phone and it absolutely blows up, gets a ton of engagement, gets some new customers, new leads, new clients, at the end of the day, this is very valuable. So the lesson from that is that you should focus on the end goal that the client has with the production and not focus on how you want to produce it. Because oftentimes us as videographers and filmmakers, we have a certain style in mind, or we've just gotten a little bit of inspiration from a movie we watched and we want to replicate that style. But at the end of the day, that's just egoistic and it's not fair. I mean, the client is paying us to produce something for them, and obviously we want to have our own style, but don't just do something because you want to do it because it actually makes sense to achieve the client's goals. And this also requires you to cut back a little bit on your ego. And I ran into that wall many times where I wanted to do something the way I wanted to do it, but then it didn't get results, which was bad. So I turned it around and actually did it the way it would get results, and it worked. Lesson number 2, upsells and resales are the easiest way to make money as a videographer or filmmaker. If you already have a client to pay you money, that is the hardest thing to do. That first transaction, getting their trust, building that up, and actually getting them to sign a contract, that is the hardest thing ever. But once you have that, once you have delivered great work, they trust you. Why would they not buy more of what they were happy with? Right? It's like you when you have some favorite camera brand, an example, and you buy another camera and another one, and then you argue with other people on the internet why your camera brand is better than their camera brand, right? That's the exact same thing. So whenever you have a happy client, right, call them immediately and ask them what other goals they want to achieve. Sell them more. It's never been easier to make money than just selling to existing clients. Lesson number 3, the cheaper your video is, the harder it is to sell. And while this might sound weird to you right now, let me tell you about this experiment that was done a couple years ago. So there was a blind taste test for wines, and scientists invited many people to take that blind taste test. I mean, who wouldn't go to a wine taste test, right? So many people showed up and they gave them 3 different wines. Now, all the bottles looked exactly the same, right? The only difference was the price tag. There was a super cheap one, a medium normal one, and a very expensive wine. Now, they had all these people taste test these wines, and as a matter of fact, all of these people agreed that the most expensive wine was the best one. But here comes the plot twist. All these wines were exactly the same wine. They just had a different price tag. And because people knew that this bottle, this wine was more expensive, they associated more value to it and felt like this was by far the absolute best wine out of these 3, even though every single one was exactly the same. And you also got to keep in mind that there's always somebody who's cheaper, right? There's always somebody who does it for free because he wants a portfolio piece. So the cheaper you go, the more you get compared on price, and you definitely don't want that. I mean, you want to be compared on your style, on your skills, on the level of expertise that you have, and definitely not on price. So don't go cheap, rather go expensive. We are actually very often the most expensive agency when multiple agencies are pitching for a project, and 8 out of 10 times we win. So it's definitely easier to sell if you are the more expensive compared to the cheaper version. Lesson number 4 is, if you're below $10,000 per month, focus on one specific niche, all right? I know you want to do all these amazing projects in so many different niches, and you want to work with car brands, and you want to work with clothing brands, and you want to work with music artists, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can do that. But in the beginning, don't do it, because if you focus on one single niche, you become an expert in that niche. You start to understand the market, you understand their problems, their challenges, you understand what kind of goals they want to achieve, right? You understand how they talk, and you can adjust your talking to theirs. And you also get to increase your prices way faster and way higher because people see that you are the guy or the girl in that niche. You are the car video guy, and that makes you way more valuable to that audience than if you would just be a general videographer who does a little bit of everything. Now, obviously, this is only for when you reach out to people, when you actually generate leads for yourself. But you can always, when somebody else comes to you and wants to make a video, let's say a clothing brand, you can also do that. But focus on one niche when you do outreach, when you do sales, when you do marketing. All right, these are my 4 tips that I learned from the last 7 years of building my $40,000 a month video agency. Now, if you want to build such an agency as well and you want to do it way faster than me, you want to do it in like 1 year, then you can check out the free video training that I recorded for you. It's about the Video Business Academy consulting program, my program, where I currently help over 300 videographers around the world get their business to $10,000 a month, 20 a month, 30K a month, 40K a month, 50K a month, and so on. And we've actually had some incredible success stories. So go check that out right now, and we'll see each other there.